ये वीडियो ओरिजिनली इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में है। इसे हिंदी में देखने के लिए सेटिंग्स में जाकर हिंदी ऑडियो चूज करें।
Namaskar and welcome back to Simplify Your Space. For the past few weeks, I have been getting a lot of requests for kitchen related videos. Things like kitchen decluttering, countertop organization, cleaning habits, and meal prepping. Last week, I already shared a video on one of the most requested topics: how to keep your kitchen clean while you're cooking. Kitchen micro habits. If you haven't watched it yet, I will leave the link in the description box as well as the I button above. And today I'm sharing another video on my weekly meal prep routine. As many of you already know, once a week I like to do a little bit of meal prep in advance. It makes cooking throughout the week so much quicker and easier, without spending too much time or effort in the kitchen. Yes, it does take a little extra effort on that one day, but it makes the rest of the week so much smoother. You don't have to make every single thing from scratch every day. When a few basics are already prepped and stored in the fridge, it feels like half your cooking is already done. So let me show you everything I'm prepping for this week. Let's get started. Last night I soaked some black chana along with the lentils and millets for my dosa batter. The first thing I'm doing is putting the black chana onto boil because they take the longest to cook. While they're cooking, I can get started with the rest of my meal prep. I'm also boiling a few potatoes because I will be making some aloo and mixed vegetable tikkis. At the same time, I'm roasting a few tomatoes for my homemade pasta sauce. Roasting gives the tomatoes a nice smoky flavor, but if you prefer, you can simply boil them and make the sauce that way too. The tomatoes are nicely roasted now, so I will let them cool down before using them. And that's the first stage of my meal prep done. Now it's time for the second stage: chopping all the vegetables I need for the prepping. One thing I always like to keep ready is some finely chopped garlic. It saves so much time when I need to make a quick tadka, chutney, or even garlic bread. And honestly, when you only need 3 or 4 cloves, it's not really worth taking out the chopper. So I usually chop a slightly larger batch at once, which easily lasts me a week. I do the same with green chilies. I finely chop them and keep them ready in the fridge. They come in handy for tadkas, chutneys, chili toast, omelets, and so many other dishes. To help both the garlic and green chili stay fresh for longer, I mix a little cooking oil or olive oil. It acts as a natural preservative and keeps them from drying out. I also finely chop some fresh coconut and keep it ready. It's perfect for making coconut chutney and other South Indian dishes whenever I need it. If you're planning to use it within 3 to 4 days, you can store it in the refrigerator. Otherwise, it's best to freeze it. For my pasta sauce and vegetable tikkis, I will also need some chopped onions and carrots, so I'm quickly prepping those as well. Here I'm adding some boiled green peas too. The boiled potatoes have cooled down, so I will peel and mash them. I'm also peeling the roasted tomatoes and blending them into a slightly coarse puree. Now let's move on to the third stage of meal prep, where I will finish all the cooking in one go. Let's start by making the pasta sauce. In a pan, I am adding a little olive oil followed by some chopped garlic. Once the garlic is lightly roasted and fragrant, I will add the chopped onions and cook them just until they turn translucent. Next goes in the roasted tomato puree, about 2 tablespoons of ketchup, some salt, pasta and pizza seasoning, red chili flakes and freshly ground black pepper. Give everything a good mix and let it come to a boil. Once it starts boiling, cover the pan and let it simmer on low heat for about 10 minutes. While the sauce is cooking, let's prepare the mix for vegetable tikkis. In another pan, I am heating a little oil and adding some chopped garlic. Once it's slightly roasted, I will add the chopped onions and cook them until they are translucent. Then I will add the carrots and green peas and cook them for another couple of minutes just until they soften slightly. Now it's time for the spices: turmeric, garam masala, amchur powder, cumin powder and salt to taste. Give everything a good mix, then add the mashed potatoes. At first, mixing everything together might feel a little difficult, but as you keep stirring, it all comes together nicely. I am also adding some chili flakes here, which I completely forgot to add earlier. Now I am adding some soaked poha. It works as a natural binding agent, so the patties hold their shape really well. That means I don't need to add any maida or corn flour for binding. And just like that, our patty mixture is ready. I will let it cool down before shaping it. By now the pasta sauce is also ready, so I will keep that aside to cool as well. I am also planning to make some hummus today, so I am quickly dry roasting a couple of tablespoons of sesame seeds, which I will need for that. My husband has been craving atta halwa for quite some time, so today I am making that as well. This is the recipe of same delicious atta halwa that's served in the Gurudwara. It's incredibly simple to make, but it tastes absolutely amazing. To make it, I am using 3/4 of a cup of ghee and 1 cup of whole wheat flour. Roast the flour on low to medium heat until it turns a beautiful golden brown. Once the flour and ghee are well combined, this is the consistency you are looking for. It should look smooth and slightly flowing. If it feels too dry, you can always add a little more ghee. Meanwhile, in another pan, I am adding 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 3 cups of water and bringing it to a boil. Once the flour is nicely roasted and you start seeing little bubbles, it's time to add the sugar syrup. Be very careful at this stage. The syrup is extremely hot, and as soon as it hits the roasted flour, it starts bubbling up quite vigorously. So add it slowly while standing at a safe distance. Now keep stirring continuously. At first it may look quite runny, but as you keep mixing, it will gradually thicken into a smooth, rich halwa. You might notice a few lumps in between, but don't worry, they will disappear as you continue stirring. And there you have it. This is the consistency we are aiming for. Now let it sit for a few seconds and you will notice the ghee starting to separate around the edges. Give it another good mix. Repeat this process 2 or 3 times and your halwa will be perfectly cooked. You can definitely add chopped dry fruits if you like, but honestly, my family and I love the classic version just the way it is. The tikki mixture has cooled down now, so I'm going to keep it in the refrigerator for about 15 to 20 minutes. Once it's cooled slightly, it's much easier to shape the patties. Just don't leave it in the fridge for too long. 15 to 25 minutes is more than enough. The black chana are cooked as well. I will strain them, separating the chana from the cooking water. Don't throw this water away. We will use it in a while. Then I will let everything cool down. And now we are on the 4th and final stage of meal prep. At this point, all that's left is a little blending and grinding. The first thing I'm making is a healthy, delicious black chana hummus. I am adding 2 tablespoons of roasted sesame seeds, 1 cup of boiled black chana, 5 to 6 cloves of garlic, the juice of a half lemon, salt to taste, 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil and an ice cube. Then I will blend everything together. Since black chana make the hummus quite thick, I keep adding a little of the reserved chickpea water while blending until I get a smooth creamy consistency. And that's it, our black chana hummus is ready. It's a healthy, protein-rich dip that tastes amazing. You can spread it on a toast or enjoy it as a dip with crackers, veggies or any of your favorite snacks. Next, I'm making some homemade oat milk. For this, I'm using 1 cup of rolled oats and 4 cups of water. One important tip, don't soak the oats beforehand. If you do, the oat milk can turn slimy. Simply add the oats and water to a blender along with a little vanilla extract and some honey for sweetness. Blend everything for about 30 seconds, that's all it needs. Over blending can also make it slimy. And the oat milk is ready. Now I will strain it through a muslin cloth or cheesecloth and transfer it to a bottle. It stays fresh in the refrigerator for about a week. I mostly use it with my muesli or breakfast cereals instead of regular milk because these days regular cow milk does not suit my digestion very well. Now it's time to grind the dosa batter. To make this millet dosa batter, I soaked 1/3 cup of urad dal, 1 cup of foxtail millet, 1/4 cup of poha and 1 tablespoon of fenugreek seeds overnight. Now I will blend everything together, adding chilled water little by little as needed. I always use the pulse mode while grinding because it prevents the batter from heating up. If the batter gets too warm while blending, it can slightly affect the taste and fermentation. Once the batter is nice and smooth, I will transfer it to a large bowl, add a little salt and mix it really well using my hand. Many people believe that mixing the batter by hand helps it ferment better because of the natural bacteria present on our hands. Of course, just make sure your hands are washed thoroughly before doing this. And that's it. Now I will cover the bowl and keep it in a warm place to ferment. Since Bengaluru has been quite cool these days, I am placing the batter inside my oven. Now it's time to finish up the last few things and get everything stored. The black chana have cooled down, so I'm transferring them to an airtight container and keeping them in the refrigerator. I have also saved the cooking water in a separate container because it's great for making gravies or even for kneading dough. The pasta sauce has cooled completely as well, so I'm transferring it to a clean container and storing in the fridge. It stays fresh for about 5 to 7 days. You can also freeze it if you would like. It keeps well for up to 3 months. The atta halwa has cooled down too, so I'm storing that in a steel container and placing it in the refrigerator. Traditionally, atta halwa tastes best when served hot. But since I have made a larger batch, I will store it in the refrigerator, and whenever we are craving something sweet, I will simply warm up a portion in the microwave and serve it. The only thing left now is shaping the tikkis. The mixture has cooled nicely and is much easier to handle, so I'm shaping it into a patties. I'm not frying them right away, instead I will place them in a container and store them in the freezer. Whenever I want to make burgers, wraps, sandwiches or even serve them as a snack, I will simply take out as many patties as I need and cook them fresh in the air fryer. This is one of my favorite meal prep ideas because it makes weekday breakfast and evening snacks so much easier. These patties are incredibly versatile and can be used in so many different recipes. They stay perfectly fresh in the freezer for up to 3 to 4 months. And with that, this week's meal prep is complete. Now let me show you all the different meals and recipes you can make using everything we have prepped today. First up is the millet dosa batter that I had kept aside to ferment overnight. Just look at how beautifully it has fermented. Now it's ready to make some crispy, delicious dosas that are not only incredibly tasty but also healthy. Serve them with a flavorful tomato onion chutney. I have already shared the recipe for that on my channel, so do check it out if you haven't already. If you already have boiled black chana ready in the fridge, you can quickly make a delicious black chana pulao. It's one of my absolute favorites and I pack it in my son's lunchbox almost every week. It's a healthy one-pot meal that's ready in no time. You can also use black chana into a simple protein-rich chaat for breakfast. It's healthy, filling, and come together in just few minutes. And when you already have homemade pasta sauce waiting in the fridge, making a quick pasta or pizza for your kids becomes so easy. Since it's homemade, it's not just delicious but also healthier and more hygienic than store-bought sauces. Those vegetable patties are just as versatile. You can use them to make sandwiches, wraps, burgers, or even ragda patties whenever you feel like it. And that's it. Spending a little extra time on the weekend really makes weekdays so much easier. These days, I also have to pack breakfast and lunch for my son every morning because his school is not serving meals due to the commercial gas shortage. Thanks to this little bit of meal prep, I can get all 3 of his meal boxes ready in just 20 to 25 minutes. And honestly, the rest of the day's meals come together so much faster too. So if you have never tried meal prepping before, I hope this video inspires you to give it a try. You don't have to prep everything at once. Even preparing a few basics ahead of time can make a huge difference during a busy week. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and share and subscribe to Simplify Your Space for more videos like this. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, happy organizing from Simplify Your Space. Bye bye.